And you, Cheryl, would you be there? Yeah.
Good evening. I'm Warren, a resident of the town of Baldwin and the county of Cumberland, Maine. Greetings. I certify that I have notified the voters of Baldwin of the time and place of the special town meeting by posting an attested copy of the within warrant at the East Baldwin Post Office, West Baldwin Post Office, Town Clerk's Office, the Baldwin Municipal Center, and the Whistle's Office is a conspicuous public place within Baldwin on October 25th, 2021, which is at least 7 days prior to Election Day. In the name of the state of Maine, you are hereby required to notify and warn the inhabitants of the said town of Baldwin qualified by law to vote in said town affairs, to assemble at the town office, Baldwin in said town, on Tuesday, the 2nd day of November 2021 at 6 p.m. in the evening to act on the following articles to wit. Article 1, to choose or elect a moderator to preside at said meeting. Any nominations?
I nominate Norway.
Second.
Next couple writings? Sure, what?
There's a surprise.
Norm Blake, do you swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state so long as you shall continue a citizen thereof, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Do you swear that you will faithfully discharge to you the best of your abilities the duties that come upon you as moderator for Baldwin according to the Constitution and laws of the state, so help you God?
Yes.
Oh, great. I have sworn in Danielle. She's going to take minutes of the special time meeting, and I have to go back down to the election. So she's ready to go.
Well, swear or?
Okay.
Article 2, to see if the town will vote to authorize the expenditure of $17,300 from the Fire Equipment Reserve account to pay for a fire and rescue department study. The purpose of this study is to analyze Baldwin's current fire and rescue service to determine where efficiencies, modernization, streamlining, coalition, and adoption of other recommended fire service practices might lend to providing a more effective service. It will also be to assess the conditions and functionality of the existing fire stations and whether one central fire station would serve the town more efficiently than 3 separate fire stations. The fundamental tenet of this study is to develop a strategic plan for the town which provides an optimal level of fire and rescue services in a cost-effective manner. This study is in place of one approved in 27 October 2020 that was never accomplished. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded. Would the selectmen like to?
Yeah.
I thought they might.
All right. The genesis of the second study was this spring. I was working with Bruce, the fire chief, about the status of the study, and he and I had heard before that there was some concern that the study that had been approved was fairly limited, and that it just looked at firehouses. And if you want to really understand the fire department, and you don't want a recommendation just on the firehouses when you've also got trucks, people, equipment, policies, procedures, other organizations that you interact with. So we should really look at the whole thing as a system and get an overall recommendation. And so that's the genesis of this. We spent probably a month writing a statement of work of what we wanted to get done, and then we spent another month looking at companies that do these type of things. We looked at national companies, we looked at local companies. I think we had 3 or 4, and we eventually narrowed it down to a main company. And then with the discussion with the individual that we selected, who was Neil Courtney, he wrote this statement of work, and we hashed it out with him, so it's been looked at over and again and make sure that we get the proper flavor of what we're trying to do. But that's basically what we're trying to do, is an overall expert look at the fire department, not just the firehouses, and so that we can have some kind of a comprehensive plan from some outside experts that can tell us where we need to go.
Questions, comments?
How long does it take to do this?
Well, he says it'll take 4 months once the contract is awarded, and then the study comes back to us. We take some time, we look at it, see what we like or we don't like, if we want some more explanations, whatnot. And then when it goes back to him, he said it'll take 3 weeks to produce a final result.
Any other questions, comments?
Is the price firm, you know, that's locked in, he's not gonna come back to us, you know, after the draft for the final report and say he needs any more money?
This is what he's contracted it for. Yep.
Gary?
So once the study is completed and comes back to you folks, you review it, you have another public meeting, or you just make the decision based on the report which you want to do?
We hadn't anticipated having a public meeting or review of the report, but I certainly would expect 1 or more meetings to review the results of the report, because I don't know what it's going to say. I'm sure people think they know what it's going to say, and others are going to think the opposite, whatever. So I don't think anything will be implemented directly from the report. It will take some study, and then it just caution you that the study's not going to tell you you need to build a new firehouse, and it's going to cost you X number of dollars, or you need to buy a new piece of equipment, or anything else. It's going to have a lot of recommendations, and it's going to take some decisions by the townspeople as to which ones they want to do and which ones they don't. But it'll at least give you some expert guidance. I've seen some of the work that they've done for other towns, and it's very impressive. So.
Josiah?
Back to timing.
Yeah.
Will the report be in and everybody digested it, and then the consolidation of the report, however you want to put it, be done in time for us to consider it at the annual town meeting, which I guess is going to be in May now?
I don't think so. And the reason I say so is it's from the time we turn them on with the contract, it's 4 months, he said. We may do it quicker or not, I don't know. You know, and that's over the holiday season. Then there's the 3 weeks after we've reviewed it, so there's almost 5 months. And then people are going to want to chew on it and stuff. I mean, we can certainly make copies, I think, available at the town meeting, but I'm not sure what else beyond that.
That would be helpful.
Yeah.
Matt?
Whenever I did marketing research projects for clients and customers, if it's a 4-month or a 6-month project, they would always want progress reports, you know, sometimes weekly, certainly monthly, you know, how's the project going, are you hitting your milestones and stuff like that, because you don't want to wait 4 months and then find out, well, you know, we're behind schedule, we haven't talked to these people, you know, stuff like that. So is it set up so that this person or the consultant will provide some status reports or progress notes as to how it's going and whether they're
No.
getting where they need to go?
No, I haven't, and, there's a lot of people fun to talk to as well, and you have to assume that they're gonna be available, so, you know, and a lot of them are local people in the fire department. There are national organizations that do the ISO ratings and stuff, that's all gonna be looked at. You're gonna talk with other fire departments around.
Yeah.
So, no, there's nothing set up to give us status reports, but, we'll be in contact with him and have him let us know if there are issues that are.
Yeah, I would ask him to check in regularly. You just don't want a black box where you say go and you don't hear from the guy for, till 4 months is up.
Yeah.
Further questions, Gary?
I'm certainly not against the study. It'd be interesting to see what their findings are, what they come back with. I was just wondering, once that happens, if there was any opportunity for the public feedback or input. Once again, my only concern, I'm not anti-fire company. Obviously, I'm not an active member right now, but was for many, many years, and I support the operating of the fire company. My concerns, number one, are if they talked about Central Station and closing down the 3 other stations. Once again, the distance from wherever that Central Station is to the furthest point, if you have it down here, West Baldwin being the furthest point. You have it here, North Baldwin being the furthest point, and are they going to tell you that time-wise, you can get there just as quick to put fire out if you have the Central Station here than if you have it located in the north end of town? This is stuff I'm not going to get into now, but it's in my mind. And the other factor, obviously, us getting hit with our tax bills last year, some 100% or better. When you look at watch television and they're talking about some of these warehouses they're building, those are metal, steel, or whatever, and 260% increase in metal. You look at what lumber is going for, it's just really not, in my feeling, it's not an opportune time to be out there looking about putting up structures, so.
Yeah, and, well, that's one of the reasons we wanted to have a more comprehensive study.
Yeah.
I felt, and I think a lot of people felt, that it was looking just at fire stations and maybe with the idea that the solution was already in hand, which was we needed a central fire station. And
I would not want to put any one of the firefighters at risk if they're going into buildings or whatever that aren't safe, or the functionality of them would cause in an emergency situation a hazard. So if the report comes back with that, then so be it. You gotta do what you gotta do to protect the fire.
Yeah, well, you say is, we tried to make sure that we didn't go into it with a foregone conclusion, and that's why we wanted to tie all these other issues in. Looking at response times, mutual aid, a whole host of issues that come into producing a fireman at your front door when your house is on fire.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was just gonna mention, I appreciate the willingness to further the study, because I think it sounds a lot more complete, to be looking at everything, buildings, personnel, response times, and so on and so on. So I appreciate the fact that it's been expanded.
Yeah. And Bruce was adamant about it.
Anybody else? Yes.
So, if the report come back in some sort of, critical or prioritization type of recommendation, I mean, it's hard to judge what's we're asking for a product, but I think you've seen the samples, and I think I saw a little bit of the sample, but I think that's where people might struggle is are they prioritized recommendations, references here, in the statement of work, a strategic plan is completed? Is the report a strategic plan? Some sort of timeline that, we should do
It
this
won't have
now,
timelines,
later?
quite honestly, because timelines is gonna depend upon what the town wants to do with the report. Quite honestly, I've produced some very fine reports in my career, and they've been thrown on the shelf.
Yeah.
And for various reasons, very good, but for some reason, we're just not gonna do that. We don't have the money, we don't have the people, politics go the other way, whatever. But it should be prioritized and tell you what your biggest problems are. Yeah.
No, I've done the same thing. I've prepared recommendation reports, and as an expert, and then had the people you're presenting it to, say, well, no, that's not the right way to do it. I'm like, why did you have me spend 7 months working on something just to tell me I did it wrong?
As long as the check clears the bank, it's all right. Yes.
Just to piggyback what he said, I'm hopeful that they would give us a list of things that would be critical to the service and to the town. And it's up to the town to decide what to do with the information, but at least say, this is what we found, whether it's, we need to have paid staff because having volunteers are not getting there quick enough from west to north or whatever.
Yeah.
That would be very helpful, and I'm assuming that they're basing their study and their review and recommendations on state and, requirements, not just what they think, but it's based on something having to do with OSHA guidelines and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Are we ready to vote? Okay, Article 2, to see if the town will vote to authorize the expenditure of $17,300 from the Fire Equipment Reserve account to pay for a fire and rescue department study. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Those opposed? It appears to be unanimous.
White didn't raise his hand.
It's still unanimous if somebody abstains. Technicality. Article 3, to see if the town will vote to confirm approval of the purchase of a new fire truck as voted at town meeting in 2018 when it approved the capital investment plan. This article is to address an auditor's finding that the town did not formally approve purchase of a new fire truck. Will you hear a motion?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Bob, you wanna, it's kinda obvious, but wanna explain that?
Yeah, okay. It was a little fuzzy there, because I think this has been in the auditor's report a couple of years. It took us a little bit of time to figure out what it was on about. He said we didn't properly approve it. When you actually got down talking to him, the way we approved the purchase was not right. In that, we approved it to buy it through the capital investment program, which was predicated on the town making contributions to the capital investment program every year, I think $50,000 or something like that. So when the final payment came due, the money was there. Well, for a couple of years, we didn't put the money in, and so you recall, not last year, but the year before, town meeting, there was an article to take the money from the reserve account to pay for the fire department payment, and the money wasn't there. The funding mechanism was what was wrong, and so we got to get smarter about doing those type of things. Like we should have done something similar to what the Tri-Town did, which was a tax anticipatory note, where you get an approved loan from somebody to make sure that the money's there. As the auditor said, year 2 or 3, the townspeople could have said, no, I'm not gonna do that, and not approve the money, and we would have bought something that had not been approved and properly funded. That's what the issue is.
Questions, comments? Howard?
I think with a study coming, it's probably a poor time to buy a truck until after you see what the study says.
We're not buying the truck.
Well,
We're final payment. We already have.
This is just to approve the truck we've already bought.
this is, okay. The way I read it, it was start in again.
No, this is.
Okay.
This is the last.
Forget what I said.
Do we have the money? Do we have the money?
Yeah, we have money.
Okay.
We have the truck.
Well, let me clarify that. We're coming into the transitional 6-month budget,
Right.
and it's a warrant item to raise and appropriate money for the final payment of the truck.
Where's that truck right now?
It's in, I don't know,
East Ball.
Okay, so it's a real truck. Yeah. Further questions, comments?
So if the money is in an account, then we're good. If it's not, then we need to raise it. Does
yeah,
that
we need to
mean
raise it, and, yeah, we did something bad, and we're still in that bad situation, but we're gonna get through it.
Well, that's good to hear.
This
Take
just.
sale on Wednesday?
Any other questions, comments? We ready to vote? Evidently, Article 3, to see if the town will vote to confirm approval of the purchase of the new fire truck as voted at town meeting in 2018 when it approved the capital investment plan. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Those opposed? It appears to be unanimous. Okay, the best article. Article 4, a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a motion?
Well moved.
It's been moved and seconded. A motion to adjourn is not debatable. All those in favor of adjourning, please raise your hand. Those opposed? Again, we have unanimity. Thank you very much for coming.
Good job.
Gotta do that again, so on. Okey-dokey. Very well.
He's good. Thank you.
Who's that?
He's in quarantine right now. His son came out of COVID, so he's still in quarantine.
The fire chief.
Yeah.
Fire chief.
Oh dear.
Who was that?
Fire chief.
Bruce? Oh, okay.
You ain't supposed to ask.
That's all right.
Right.
Okey-dokey. Has everybody voted in the other room?
Same thing? Same thing, same thing? There's nothing else.
Okey-dokey.
Going out?
Joe and Kathy Kirsten's barn, and she did. And the light.
Yeah.
Can you do it from the corner?
Take care.
I'll show you what I did. Oh, you and then I think I did the sheet. It was I glued them on top of the ones that weren't quite as pretty. Yeah, they looked at it. Isn't that sweet? Good. I like it. I think it came up pretty well. Oh, yeah. Wow. So it's oh, yeah.
You'll have to work.
They just came today.
I tell you what, it's less than
I knew
Oh,
that.
it is going on.
I saw the number and I still went.
Next week, yours, Sunday's mine. That's right. 3 days later is yours.
I was telling you,
So I.
You are. I saw your big orange
I
sign.
do it with some intention, about $8,000.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll be done.
They go bang, 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 like that. Pile drive.
Yeah, they got these.
You're actually not working on that? No. Really?
It's all like
Yeah, I mean, I was behind my house, I was almost to the.
Wow.
Yeah, we.
You get a fire apparatus on the back, you get all that money.
Yeah.
Yes, they don't even want something to put them in exactly.
Take that off.
that one.
Before they
Right.
move out.
Thank you, gentlemen.
See you
And
around.
I think
Yeah.
around the
They
world.
also ground the
Yep.
flag on the.
Okay.
Our usual flag.
Our
They may have just redone the
We
same.
go to our usual
Rather than put it on the
place.
machine.
Birthday's the same.
Yeah.
Same year, same way.
Yeah.
Same day.
Yeah, and they also run the light on it.
Guys that say, "Stand back."
Oh, yeah.
Hell, I could do that.
Yeah.
Where's the on button?
Yeah.
I'll be around that day, 'cause that's a food pantry day. I'll be,
So how many kilowatts
working
you
in the
gonna make?
morning and
Make
then,
5 megs. And what's been made out of?
Yep.
that's neat. Did you make the
Oh, it's
paper?
only 3?
Oh, no, this is, art food.
Yeah, I call it made out of.
Oh, that's nice, expensive, very expensive paper. That is really nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I know, I showed
That's a photo.
That
it is. See how I just got a photo? Touch it. I mean, well, no, I mean.
Wait a minute.
See how I did that?
She created the scene.
Yeah, I took a photo of the barn,
Somebody said something.
and then I took pictures of the sheep, and I cut out
You know,
the
that land
prettiest
you'll
sheep,
never be able to
and
use.
glued them on
I said,
top.
no.
Yeah.
I said, in 20 years, the space aliens are gonna come down, and they're gonna have
It's pretty
fusion
fun to
power
do.
the size of a
Yeah,
can
fun.
of Coca-Cola.
Is that Mr. Ram in the
It's
middle?
gonna make that all.
I have no idea what any
Well,
of those
if,
sheep are.
but they're all
But they're all different from each other.
Oh, really?
I mean, this guy is
Now, what about
That's why I was thinking about the
30-year-old?
And this one, I mean,
Where do they?
yeah, watercolors really made the sheep like,
In that process of
but,
recycling.
I think that,
Somehow
Yeah.
just the magic
I
metal.
think that the white one,
Yeah.
the light of the
Yeah.
white one is that, really pretty awesome.
Yeah.
The little one is kind of cute.
Oh, he's awful
Obviously,
cute, the baby.
silicone, I think they use
The baby.
gallium arsenide or
I don't know how much
gallium.
the baby.
Telluride.
He must have been, pretty close, I bet he was close to a year old. Yeah, it was pretty fun to do, it was a fun thing.
Oh, we gotta get out of here.
There you go,
We don't have to.
Yeah. So they're
The
gonna have
reference
to
are
do.
better. See you guys.
Yes, sir. All right, first thing, is to review and approve October 19, 2021 minutes. All in favor? Next thing is review and approve November 2nd, 2020 warrants. And you guys had a chance to.
Make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Scholarship.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And we've got a couple of abatements, Dan, sign. Yeah, you gotta take a look at those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, scholarship reviews. We have about 5 applicants here. I've gone over, you read through these, Bob?
No, I haven't seen.
Oh, yeah?
I would suggest that we give us a chance over the next week to come in and read them over.
Okay. I will table that till next week, the next regular meeting.
Yeah. And in the meantime,
Look them over. Yeah. Studying. All right. That complaint on the Pigeon Brook Road, I guess there's more than just that complaint, was there? Vehicles, I see you got your, report in west about Pigeon Brook Road.
I observed the emails that floated around Friday and the weekend, and so I came to visit Monday. Had a good little 15-20 minute talk with them, and I think what I heard and what I learned satisfied me that things are okay. And I gave you a brief outline of what occurred, so I think for the time being, all parties should be satisfied.
so, you visited, the Davises, right? Or
Richard Davis was there in his garage, and 2 other fellows, one was Arthur, and his father was the last name of Fred, and they were working on cars, so I talked to the 2 of them. Complaint about excessive vehicles, 3 of them belong to Hargis. I've been looking for Hargis to see if he has registrations. I also went on the internet to see what can be done through the state. If there is not a registration for the car, what you can do to get the car towed. So I'm researching that, and there are avenues to follow. So hopefully in a short time, those cars will disappear.
Okay, good.
Did you talk to, Mr. Marion?
Marion's usually not around. She works up in,
Not Marion Davis, but Pete Marion.
up in Bowdenham at a rest home. She works there from Sunday afternoon to Friday afternoon. And so,
So the original complaint, though, was from a neighbor. His name is
Marion, Peter Marion, yeah.
And did you talk with him?
No.
No, you haven't.
I never have.
Okay.
He's called me on the phone, and he's emailed me. But I've never visited him. I'm waiting to see if he's gonna answer me on the email I sent him.
Oh, okay, so you did send the email, okay.
So give it a few days, and then I might knock on the door.
All right, so things hopefully resolved.
Gary has a question?
Oh, yes, Gary.
Yeah, I was just wondering about the code enforcement officer and so on making the visits. It has nothing to do with me, because I don't know, but I was wondering while you're talking about Pigeon Brook Road, it used to be, I don't remember the guy's name, I don't remember whether it was a plumber or whether it was an electrician, but he had the house next door to my son's in-laws trailer, and they wound up moving away just simply, it looks like a disaster. It looks like they sort of like to have a farm, but there's like all kinds of vehicles and motorcycles and this and that, and they were saying that at 11 o'clock at night, the kids would get on and they'd go up and down the road. There's nothing in that whole setting that is not in compliance. Is that all acceptable?
Are we talking about 79 Pigeon Brook, or are we talking about location?
You don't know where I mean? Before you turn down the river road.
You talking about Edgerly, the second house from the corner of River Road?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's all acceptable?
I've been tempted to knock on the door and see how many families live in there.
There you go.
I'm aware of it.
Okay.
There has not been neighborly complaints about it.
Yeah, well, it's an eyesore.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
There's about 4 entities around Baldwin and Cornish, they're all about the same. Okay.
What about across from the whistle stop? Have you seen that tank? It's all of
Yes.
a sudden.
I gave them the tank came from Dodge Oil, the next door neighbors, they were getting rid of the tank, so they took it and they set it up on end, they dug it probably about 2 feet down, the thing's probably weighs about 6 tons. And their desire is to paint a mural on it, as a decoration.
Oh, it's gotta be.
Today they was playing
I
guitar.
scratched my head
on
and,
top of
yeah,
it.
this is a structure, it's not a structure, it's set behind the legs of the tower, so it's not violation of setback. Because the tower's grandfather, so. Yeah. What do you think?
Let's hope a mural goes on.
It's
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking the rail cars and stuff like that, you know?
What they're doing is harmless, it might become an eyesore, but it's harmless, you know, I also talked about, you know, what are they gonna do with the tower, they have a rope hanging from it, like they use a rope to haul things up there, they fix the handrail up there, and I told them, I said, you know, you'll probably never be able to use that tower with people up there, you'll have to go through the state fire marshal first, and there's a lot of hoops, and it's unsafe, you'll probably never be able to use it, so I told them that.
A friend of mine visited there,
Yeah,
and she was asking if she wanted to climb the tower.
yeah.
Yeah, she wanted to go up there.
Yeah.
There was a guy there this morning, when I brought my wife up here to do the vote, there was a guy up on the top of it then.
They're always up there.
Yeah.
But I mean, if the town has no liability or whatever, right, I mean, unless they've got great insurance to do whatever.
Property, as far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
they're all risks.
Right.
I was out in the woods today, standing on the top of a rock, and the drop was about 40 feet, about 6 inches away from me.
Yep.
Did you get a buzz?
I said, you know, I think I'll step back.
Yeah.
A little warning sign.
Yeah.
It's funny as we get older, what we accept, what we don't accept.
Once you hit 40, things change.
Yes, yeah.
I had a guy tell me that and I laughed at it, and I'm not laughing no more.
You see such as like a National Geographic or something, somebody like standing on the edge of the Grand Canyon or something.
Right.
I get dizzy just watching that, seeing that picture.
Yeah.
All right, Randy's schedule, alternate cleaner.
I talked to Randy today.
Yeah.
He's gonna be out for at least 2 more weeks.
2 more weeks.
And I don't know, like Danielle says, do we wanna hire somebody to come in and clean for a couple of weeks while he's out, or?
We're concerned because he's been out for over a month.
Right.
And Robin actually took it upon herself to clean bathrooms because they were so bad.
Okay.
And with COVID ramping up and everything, I mean, we feel pretty dirty in here.
Might be a good idea to look for somebody.
Well, you said you had somebody in mind, right?
There's some local girls that would do it per hour.
Yeah.
I can get some rates if you guys are interested in going to
Well,
get them.
we got not just these bathrooms, but we got the kids' bathrooms too. to
She
think
did the
about.
kids' bathrooms also.
Yeah.
Yeah, she shouldn't have to do that.
No, she shouldn't.
No.
Do you know what his prognosis is?
He's got one sore that's healed pretty good. He had the other, on the other foot, he's had another sore. They've had to cut some of the, meat out of it today, and what they're trying to do is healing from the inside out.
Right.
So, and all I can tell you is what he told me today. He's a diabetic too, you know, so.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I guess so. Fine.
I I can get a few quotes. I did talk to one girl today and she charges, $30 an hour.
Yeah.
But I can get a few other prices of the local girls that do it around here,
Okay,
house
yeah.
cleaners and stuff.
Yep. Public hearing November 30th. Details to advise.
We ought to get an ad out in a week or so, for a couple weeks, so that you know what kind of details, start thinking about that now, I guess.
Now, this is the public hearing to discuss the budget. Yeah. Okay. I can, I'll draft something over.
Thank you.
Update on building repairs. I think that last discussion on it.
I spoke with Lorraine Botot, and Dan has some availability in a couple weeks. He has some subs coming into the house that he's building, so he's gonna be, he has some time.
Yeah.
So I left a message for him today on when he could come over and take a look, if a selectman wants to meet up with him and point out what you want done and how you want him to price it out.
Yeah.
I have, I talked to Fred Minor, he was gonna talk to his boys, and I spoke with Fred Howley last week, and he's very, very busy. So this is like, Dan Botot took some time, so.
We'll jump at it right now, yeah. Yeah.
Jim,
Yeah.
can I just ask you what the repairs are you doing?
We have a whole list here. Old office end, roof leaking. Water filtration system, we got a note from the state saying they want us to take it over, so we kinda have to update that. I seen a leak on the old office end, painting building, the boiler, and one of the classrooms down at the other end got some water damage, possibly some mold problem, and falling tiles. So we got a list here.
Yeah.
We have to update our heating contact, Matt Sanborn has another job.
Oh.
He's on the main control side now instead of mechanical services side.
Oh,
So we
yeah.
can't call him directly anymore if we have heating problems, so we have to go through the office.
That's something we ought to do, is schedule mechanical services and then service that boiler before winter time.
Yep, I talked to him tonight, he mentioned that, so, yep.
Service the boiler and the burner and stuff.
He was gonna show like the next person who was ever gonna kinda respond to us, kinda around and where everything is and type of thing, so.
A motion for it?
Yep.
And reminder, November 9th, Ward Water between 9 a.m. and 10 p.m. to discuss the water system. Tuesday, November 9th, 6 p.m. joint meeting with Selectmen and Planning Board to discuss comprehensive plan. Thursday, November 11th, office closed, Veterans Day, Planning Board meeting at 7 p.m. Katie Rooney, Community Partnership Executive at PM, Amphion, will attend November 16th meeting. She will work it on municipalities, some small business and nonprofits in Maine to raise money for important initiatives while boosting local participation in community solar.
This will be on your agenda for the 16th.
Okay.
So Jim, when you were talking about water, whatever, do you still have the purifications?
Yeah, that's what they're talking about. I think we've had it tested, right,
DEP, I think DEP did a water test, was it a month and a half ago or something like that? And they detected that there were still volatile organic compounds coming in that were getting filtered out in the final process. At the same time, they want us to take over the ownership of the system. And we might as well, they haven't done anything to it since 2012. And it still seems to be working, but it's leaking very badly. So bad that we got roots coming up through the drain.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Still hanging out there if you wanna see it, it's pretty amazing.
Any apples?
So it needs to be repaired at the minimum. And then the ward's water system, which is the other half of it, which is filtering out uranium or some kind of radioactive device, plus giving water softening to the system. There was a report last year, I think, was it Danielle, that said there were some things that needed to be done for it, and it was never done, so we're gonna try to get the things sorted out, fixed.
Anything, Gary, tonight?
No, thank you.
Joe? Thank you, Kathy? That's it. Mr. McNeil, you got anything else?
No, I'm all set, you answered my question.
Good.
I do have something. There's a fundraiser for the McKinney family coming up.
Yes.
And we're taking orders for the meals. They're $12 each. They're ham dinner, includes mashed potatoes, squash, green beans, blueberry cake and a biscuit, and from the Porter Academy. So if anybody wants to put in a request for that, I can.
It's all done.
Yeah? Okay.
Where do you put the request in?
We're meeting on Sunday, and they're trying to get a head count. We are only doing 350 meals. So we wanna kinda get an idea and know that people are gonna be coming up and picking them up.
Yeah, it's a pickup type of thing.
It's a pickup,
Yeah.
My wife and I have done it 4 times now. You know, it's a very good deal, it's very well organized.
Cool.
You'll have to have your name, your telephone number, and
Right.
you'll have your pickup time.
Yeah.
You know, right on your meals and stuff like
Yeah.
that, so.
Yeah.
It's very well orchestrated.
Is that
Where
Water
is it?
Academy?
Yeah.
Porter
Water.
Academy and.
Water.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the date again?
The 13th, I think. The 13th, Jim?
Yes, it is.
Whatever that Saturday is.
But I said it's posted on the website, on Facebook. Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah.
Who do you call, Kathy?
You can give it to me if you want to make.
Well, you can check with my daughter.
Oh, okay.
I just, all of them,
Yeah.
if we do it, we'll just all do it together, so I just
Okay.
wanted, so
Yeah.
we'll give you a call.
Just give me a call, yeah.
Yep.
Penny Thorne's doing the organizing of it, and there'll be an ad in the shopping guide, and it's got her number on it too.
Steve was saying today, this morning, that he seems to be, he's still in the ICU or whatever, because there's no rooms in the regular floors.
Apparently.
That's why he's still, but I guess he could go.
Yeah.
To it.
Yeah, he's doing much better.
Yeah,
Yeah, very tough.
yeah. Paul, you got anything up there?
No, all set.
All set. Wes?
I've done everything that has to be done.
Okay. Danielle?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Bob?
Yeah.
Okay.
A couple things. The letter that DEP sent us on the water system. Do you have that, Daniel?
Yep.
I think what I'll do is I'll draft a reply.
Yep.
He called me.
He called me too and left a message after you called. I must have been on the phone with you and he must have left a message on this new system we have.
We gotta
Same deal.
sign his paper and send it back to his boss.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to sign his paper, but I think we can answer his letter.
Well, he was responding to your question whether or not that detection was acceptable within the limits for drinking
It's way
water.
low.
And he said it was. So he was basically answering your question you had asked him over the phone.
Yeah, that was the report said.
So Just tell me what to say.
I hate to be.
Oh, I know, but,
I mean, that's what I say, is I would suggest that I draft a reply to his letter.
that's great.
And in essence, we'll take it, but we don't necessarily want to sign a letter that says it's not needed. That's what his letter says, the system is not needed.
That's, it did say that, yeah.
The folks that he's pulling out, the numbers are so low, you know, from what the standards set at. So explain to me on the phone.
Yeah. I think they're just trying to mess on it, but I'll read it again, we'll look at it, and we'll see. And if you guys wanna just sign it, go ahead.
He's looking to turn it over to us.
That's what it is, he just wants to get rid of it.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what's up to worry
up on
about.
us, yeah.
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 And, so. Just, you know, my opinion is, a lot of the stuff gets thrown into a file, and someone come out and pick it up and go, oh, this system's not needed.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what it says.
And the selectmen agreed to it.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, why are we worried about it?
It is. There's an
What I read is, I think it is needed, but we'll talk about
There's
it
an
again.
issue, yeah. The difference between before and after the filter.
Yeah.
I'll go over it again.
Yep.
We can talk about it.
Okay.
But I think the end result is, yes, we need to take it.
Well, I think we should take it.
If they're not doing anything, they haven't
Right,
done anything
yeah.
Well, it
10,
hasn't
12 years,
been
so.
maintained since 2012, you said.
Right.
That's quite a while.
Well, the other system isn't even plugged in working either.
We'll find out when the Board of Water's here.
Yeah.
They told us that before. You know, that it wasn't working.
Okay.
There's one valve that's gotta be replaced.
Should get it fixed then.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, the other thing was, we have the cemetery crew. Is it possible that we can get them to also do the mowing of the Veterans Memorial?
Yeah.
Just as a part of their responsibilities.
Yeah, I mean, they could do, they could do the graveyard and back at the library at the same time.
Yeah.
I think we got a problem here, and it's one that's being surfaced that we gotta address. But it's a lot bigger problem than what we think it is.
What's that?
These cemeteries, and keeping everything mowed and in touch and stuff, and fixing the stones, and
Yeah.
he's got one guy that he sends out. You're not gonna be able to send that one guy out into the woods.
No.
You know what I mean? You need two guys to go, but we only got one. So if looking into this problem that we got, we're gonna have to put some more people towards it next year.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, this isn't
Yeah.
gonna go away.
Some of these you're not gonna be able to find.
What's that now?
Some of these cemeteries you're not gonna be able to find, because I couldn't
No.
find them with my kids.
Well, the other thing, Mary, is you can't find nobody that'll do it.
Oh, I understand that, no, I do, I mean, some of these are like, really, I had people take us to these places, and, you know, just the second time Kenny and I went around and marked as many of them as we could, and I really had a hard time finding some of them. Nolan McKinney took us out to one out near his place, and I don't think I could find that again, you know? There's one over on the Marston Road that, Woody, I can't remember what his name was, Woody, he was a certified public accountant, whatever, but anyway, he took us out there, he and his grandson and I went out there, and it's like, it's right out in the middle of nowhere, and it's like this big, huge, tall monument that was a Civil War veteran.
Yeah, I know what that one is.
You do know that one, okay, because I don't think I could find that again.
Yeah, it is hard to find, but it is off an old town road, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is that, after our discussion the other day, is, yes, we are responsible for maintaining, headstones, gravestones, monuments for veterans.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, we're not responsible by law for others, but I would think we would wanna do it.
What about, like, they call ancient burial grounds? that falls under that too. And there's a category of ancient burial grounds that anything established before 1880, you have to maintain. We have a lot of those.
Yeah.
Well, this is why I say we got a problem here, that we gotta address some stuff. We just, right now, we don't have the manpower to do it, so we gotta address some manpower too.
Yeah, well, get organized for next spring. But the reason the Veterans Memorial issue came up was because we were planning to have Randy do it. I don't think he's going to be
Don't sound like it.
doing it, not this year, and, it's one of those things that, we got somebody mowing, monuments for the, town, we could do that as well.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good plan, but we just gotta have the people set up to do it.
Well, you asked me at one point if I knew anybody who was interested in running for road commissioner. Do you have a problem there?
Not right now. No. Right now, we seem to be pretty good. Now, after the first snowstorm, we'll see. I think we're gonna be okay through the winter.
He was worried about getting help for the winter time. I think
He's still down one guy right now.
yeah.
You know, he's got enough plow drivers to do 3 routes, and it'd be nice to have a 4th one.
Did you get another applicant when you did the application was in the paper? Did you get another applicant?
Yeah, we did. You got a Class A license with 2 OUIs. Yeah. No, you can't touch people like that.
Wow.
But as far as having a bunch of applications, we didn't get that many. I think we got 3 total.
That's more than I thought we'd get.
I think the thing that, we did get is people who had worked for us before that were indicating they weren't going to, decided they would come back and work for more, but it was for more pay.
Yeah.
So it works, yeah.
Just a comment about one of the veterans monuments. Larry and I mowed that forever, took care of it. And then, of course, when he's gone, then I've been doing it. I don't mind, but it's a great relief for the town to take over that project, because it really is an eyesore. It can get to be an eyesore in an instant when the grass gets too long down there, and it's nice to keep it. It's a nice location, and it's very viewable. People passing through or going to the library. It's nice to keep it, so that's very much appreciated. The second part of that is that, as a historical society, we really took on the responsibility of taking care of that. And we've also taken care of the flag raising. And, one of our members, Glenn Haynes, has been doing that. And, for a lot of reasons, we were thinking of trying to find a younger applicant that might be a veteran that would be willing to take over the duties of the flag down there. It's something that Glenn has probably got a limited time to keep on doing, and we don't do it all the time. We try to do it with what the state requires, but those requirements are somewhat fuzzy too. If the governor says he wants to do it, you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, if anybody is aware of a veteran who might be interested in helping maintain the flag down there, I'd like to know who it is, and I'd be willing to talk to them about it.
Okay.
Contact me.
How was your budget in terms of coal patch? Pretty well non-existent, or?
Can't tell you that.
Got a pothole?
Well, you know, if you could take a ride up Brown Road, when you get to Howard and Donna's, or the yellow house there, from the yellow house up through, I mean, you swerve it out, and, I don't like to say this because all of a sudden it becomes my job, but periodically I go down with a spade shovel and I take dirt and I fill in the hole because my front end of my truck, I mean, what it costs to realign it. But I even went to the point of taking yellow spray paint and I circled them, and, it worked up by Jack Murphy's because they actually came and put some coal patch, but the ones down on the flat, they haven't, and I just thought maybe used to see Tony and him periodically riding around up there. They used to come up New York Rate, the road. No activity this summer whatsoever.
Where is it, Gary? And I'll call Brian tomorrow.
I'm sorry?
Whereabouts is this? And I'll call Brian tomorrow.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Where is the
Where
spots that
is
you're
this?
talking
So
about?
I can call Brian tomorrow and tell him.
When you come in on Brown Road, and, before you come to that first set of houses, on the houses, all four of them are on the right-hand side, just before that first house, there's just there's 3 or 4 potholes. And I filled all 3 or 4 of them, and when it rains, because it washes it out, so I'm going back up again. When you get up by, Estes house, what's his name?
Or if it's on Brown Road, they can probably see it.
Yeah,
Okay.
before you get to, Saddleback there, I mean, it's.
Okay. If you
But I just, like I said, it used to be that you really didn't have to say anything. It's almost they had to, periodically, they had a schedule, you'd see them riding up here and not a sight of them this year. So I figured, well, either no budget or they were too busy on another project someplace.
If you can't get a hold of him, you can always call us, and I see him in the office, I can let him know.
Yeah.
The River Road is developing potholes.
Is that bad too?
Yeah, that are gonna get bigger. The Pigeon Brook Road and the River Road.
Pigeon Brook. He's been, hauling sand, and we ordered our first loads of salt today. So he's been putting up sand and doing the salt, so I will let him know on these.
I mean, I wouldn't tell them
roads
how
when
to
you get all this rain.
Yeah, all 6 inches of rain will do that to you.
Yeah.
These are tarred roads. They're developing potholes, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, on this side of the.
Yeah, Pigeon Brook and the River Road.
Yeah.
I just noticed I went down there today and realized I was heading to,
I mean, I wouldn't tell them how to York Rate McNeil Road, because obviously they've done that before, but, my thought would be with a couple of the one-ton trucks they got, and they've got some gravel down here, you might wanna come up with a couple of those and put the gravel down, and then York Rate it. What they've done, it's so bony now, because everything is out here, everything that's out there needs to come in here, whether they use, and I thought we had a road grader, used to have one, and bring all that stuff that's out there in here, and then you operate it, and you got something, but the operate doesn't last very long, because, I mean, they're just bringing up all these rocks and boulders and everything, and I don't know, never mind. We live with it, for good, but, like I said before, I call down and I compliment, when I had Brian's cell, I say, that a boy, thanks an awful lot, come home and look and never even ask, and they come up in their York with it, but, not this year. Thank you for listening.
That's all I got.
Pretty well covered now.
Okay, we got, staffing tomorrow.
Yes, sir, 2 o'clock.
Is Bruce still in quarantine, right?
He's, out of quarantine tomorrow night, so he won't be here tomorrow.
Okay. So
Ariel will be here tomorrow.
ask him about the flags on his cell phone.
Flags? Okay.
Yeah,
The flag complaint we got?
Yeah, they do a terrible, one that's falling down,
One's gone.
one by the library, that's, well, it's two of them gone.
Oh, we should have mentioned it to Owen while he was here.
Yeah,
East Baldwin?
yeah,
Okay.
one by the library was torn off.
Shredding.
Yeah.
I'll
And
shoot Owen a message.
I think somebody must have taken it down, and there's one up, on this side of what's this stuff, yeah, so I can understand the complaint.
It was a really nasty email, that's why I didn't forward it.
Technically, it's not the town's responsibility, it's kind of, like the ones in Baldwin, and auxiliary pays for them, it's kind of a private thing, so. That's all I have.
I move that we adjourn.
I second it. All in favor?